Hey, it's April from the Noble Garden, and today we're going to discuss vertical growing. And I'm going to go over the couple ways that I do vertical gardening, and I like it. It is my favorite way to garden, and I'm going to go over a couple reasons. So my number one reason why I like to vertically grow is it saves space. I used to live on 0.33 acres. I did not have a lot of room to mess with, so it was a lifesaver there. And because that's how I learned to garden, and that's the way I learned and that's the way that I fell in love with gardening, I do it here too. And another reason why I like it is that you can see your fruit and you can see exactly where it's at. I'm going to show you an example. You see how well you can see these melons? If these melons were on the ground, you wouldn't be able to spot them as easy. You spot them there, and there, and there. I'm going to show you my other melons. So I do have some melons growing on the ground that I'm going to quickly show you, and you'll see the difference between growing them vertically and growing them on the ground. On the ground, it's harder to spot melons. They can ripen and then you miss them. Like I have one right now that I noticed this morning is ripening, and to be honest with you, I didn't even notice it was ripening until I watered the plant. But on that vine, I would have known that it was ripening. So this is how most people grow melons. And it's harder to see the fruit, like you have to dig your hands in there. Like obviously I can see this bunch right here. They're really easy to spot. But the more that you go inside, see, I have to like move them around to really see them. And then like I said, there's this one. Let's see if I can find it again. Right here that's starting to ripen. And I really wouldn't be able to tell that if I didn't spot it. So one of the next questions that's going to be asked is, with them dangling, how do I prevent them from falling to the ground? Anyone who's grown melons, you know that when melons are ripe, that they detach themselves and fall. So what I do is I buy these produce bags off of Amazon. You can use, I've seen people use masks, I've seen people use sports bras, pantyhose, and anything that's stretchy that will hold them. And all y'all do, let me turn the camera to where you can see what I'm doing. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little melon in this bag. And then I'm going to tie him to my trellis. And what's going to happen is that when it falls off, it's going to fall off in this bag. And all I come and do is cut the bag off. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to do that with each one of my melons. So melons are just one example. The other thing I do on trellises are cucumbers, green beans. Now this is my arch trellises. Let me show you them right quick. So guys, this is my arch trellis. I'm going to show you when it's blank because we had to take down some cucumbers that had gotten sickly. I will show you how we put those up. Before I do that, I just got to show you how cucumbers hang and make it so easy to spot them. So this is a cattle panel that we fold in half. We put it in front of a T-post and I attached them by zip ties. Let me show you another example of vertical growing. So this is the T-post lengthwise, not made into an arch, that I plant green beans on and I plant tomatoes on. I'm going to take you to look at the tomatoes. So this is my favorite way to grow tomatoes. This T-post is 16 feet long, so I hold it up by like 3 to 4 T-posts with zip ties. These are all reusable. They're 3 to 4 years old. We just keep reusing them. And I'm going to show you a difference. So with the tomatoes, this is what I do. And then to pin them up, I buy these little hooks off of Amazon and go by and just hook them up. Now, the other way I tried this year to vertically grow tomatoes was by the Florida weave. I am just not a good Florida weaver. I think that the cattle panels with T-posts are way easier. The other reason why I like to vertical grow is I think that it's just beautiful. Like, look at these beans. I think them dangling like that is just absolutely beautiful. So the reasons why I like to vertically grow is it saves space. It can cut down on disease, because if you leave the plant trimmed up, it does give better airflow than it all just being on the ground touching each other. The other thing is you can see your fruit. I think that is an awesome benefit, that you can see your fruit so easily, and I think it's beautiful. It saves space. I just think it's an awesome way, especially if you're in a small tight place. This is an awesome way. There are several different ways. Yes, I use cattle panels, and they're not the easiest things to use. For me, I had to get my cattle panels here by borrowing someone's truck because you need something big. We've also put them in U-Hauls. One thing we had to do one time is we had to fold them in half to fit them in whatever we borrowed to get them here. But once they're here, they last for years and they are awesome. I've seen people use other types of fencing. We had bought wood, the wood pieces. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Lattices, I think is what they're called. This is what I'm talking about. I have used those in the past as well. I can't remember what we used to hold them up at the time, but if I was to use one right now, I would use T-posts. T-posts are my favorite thing to pretty much hold anything up. So plants that I like to vertical grow, cucumbers are my favorite. I like to vertically grow green beans, as you saw my tomato plants. And I have seen tomato plants for other people on arches, and I can see how it works as tall as those have gotten. Melons on arches are one of my favorite things. You can also put a cattle panel up to let your sweet potatoes vine up. I've seen that. And then one other last thing I can show you that's kind of like vertical growing is kind of what I'm doing with my squash and zucchini. And I have seen squash and zucchini vertically grow up poles, and I've also seen them grow up cattle panels. So I put mine in these tomato cages, and this is not perfect yet. I got to come out. But what you do is any leaves that are hanging over that are not necessary, you will cut off from the bottom, and you just keep letting it grow up this kennel. You have to obviously teach it to do it, but it can be done. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope it was helpful. I hope it gave you some ideas. And remember, if you like my video, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.